Happy Tuesday and welcome to weigh-in day. So I don't remember what I was last week off the top of my head, so I'll pop it up right here for you. But this morning I was 254.4. So I believe that's like 51 point something pounds down in total, which is very awesome. Yesterday, because I do kind of step on the scale every day or every other day, I was trying to stick to like once a week on Tuesdays, but curiosity gets the best of me, and I don't know, I just don't have a bad relationship with the scale anymore, so I feel like it's safe for me to do. It's not affecting me negatively when I do it. Anyway, yesterday when I stepped on, I was like 253 point something, so I was like, oh gosh, I'm so close to being out of the 250s, but then I upped a pound. But I do think that I have my period right now, so that's scary. We'll see if it's, you know, how long it stays and all that stuff, but it has been almost a month. The 17th will be exactly a month since I stopped bleeding on my insane 60 something day period last month, so it seems like it's trying to come back monthly. Let's just hope that it stays for a little bit and then leaves this time on its own. But anyway, speaking of weight loss and all that stuff, I had something somewhat interesting happen to me yesterday. I'm probably the only one that will think that this is interesting, but as you guys know, I've been trying to get my husband, we have been trying to get his Zepbound 5 milligrams for like 2.5, 3 weeks now. I always on our third pen, so our third out of our fourth pen, I always resubmit for a new box, and so I did that. And I literally have called everywhere that our insurance takes in our state, and then I've called everywhere that our insurance takes in the state over from us, and I just cannot find it absolutely anywhere. And it's easier for me during the day to do all of like the research and the calling and, you know, all of that stuff than it is for my husband, so I like gladly just take that over and help and all that stuff. And I did see a few comments in one of my videos mentioning like, well, since you have an extra box, why don't you give it to him or let him take a few pens out of that? And to that I say, one, because I have diabetes, the medication that I'm taking, the Monjaro that I'm taking, is more than just weight loss for me. It's to control my diabetes and my sugar and all that stuff. So my husband and I talked about it, because I said that to him. I said, well, maybe I'll just give you that extra box that I have. And he said, no, you need that. My medication is for weight loss and this and that, but yours is literally for your diabetes. Like you need it. And so him and I kind of chatted about it, and he didn't feel comfortable taking it. And you know, there is obviously the massive shortage of Monjaro also. So having that extra box in my house, it just makes me feel a little more secure. If in, you know, a month I'm then unable to find my own Monjaro. So that's why. It's not because I don't love my husband or want to share with him or whatever. It's just because him and I have chatted about it, and I just need it more than him. I mean, that's just the bottom line, unfortunately. But it doesn't mean that I'm not doing everything in my power to try to find him his medicine or something like that. So I have been on the phone with our insurance company a bunch of times. I've been on the phone with our doctor's office a handful of times, because right now, which I know this is a similar issue that a lot of people are running into, but right now our insurance won't cover the 2.5 milligrams more than one time every 6 months, and that's the only dosage that seems to be readily available in the pharmacies right now. So I called and I spoke to my our insurance company multiple times to ask, like, is there anything that we can do as far as a quantity limitations appeal? Can they just like lift that rule for right now because of the shortage? And basically they were like, you can try to do appeals, you can try to do, you know, whatever. I can't say that it's definitely going to work. Like, that's what the lady was telling me. But you can always try. And so I was like, okay. Then they also told me that because he was approved for Zepbound, even though he doesn't have the diabetes diagnosis, because of the shortage right now of Zepbound, there's a chance that if you put in for Monjaro with like so many details about this is the only reason why we're asking for Monjaro is because of the shortage, and he uses Zepbound because of X, Y, and Z, and blah, 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 and you put that in as a prior authorization, there's a chance that they'll approve the Monjaro. Now, the problem is Monjaro is just as much on back order as Zepbound, but for some reason where we live, I've been able to find the Monjaro easier than the Zepbound. So I was like, okay. So I called my doctor's office yesterday, and I'm able to usually email them on the patient portal, but I wanted to talk to the patient, whatever their name is, the ones that handle the PA, I can't remember what her name is, patient coordinator. I wanted to talk to her on the phone and just explain, like, this is what the insurance company said. They said to really put as much detailing, because I was going to ask them to put in for the Monjaro. Because the doctor said he could switch to Wegovy, but we know people on Wegovy, and he told us Wegovy is just not as good. And so Tim is already kind of weird with taking medicine, and so he didn't feel comfortable unless he like absolutely had to, switching to a different medication. All of this to say, I told the patient coordinator what our insurance company said and what they believe that we should try to do. And she was very like dismissive, which is funny because I have never had an issue with this office ever. I absolutely love this office. I love every person in the office. I've spoken to her before over text. Like, I've never had that experience with her before where she was like a tiny bit dismissive. Like, basically all she kept saying to me is, they're not going to do that. That's what they'll say, and they're not going to do that, and they're not going to do that. And like in my head I was like, okay, well, why can't we at least just try and like see? And so then she asked me, you know, have you called this one place? Because for some reason this one specific pharmacy is usually able to get the medication in. And I said, yes. I literally, when I tell you, have called every single pharmacy that our insurance takes for like 2.5 weeks straight. I'm not kidding. Like, I've called literally everywhere. And the place that she was talking about, I had just called on Friday. I had called their 2 locations on Friday because I had heard the same thing about how they seem to be the ones that are kind of restocking easily around us. And I said, she goes, okay, well, what I said, at this point, because he's on 5 milligrams, at this point he'll take either 5 milligrams or 7.5 milligrams, whatever box he can get of those 2. And she goes, well, how long has he been on the 5 milligrams? And I said, a few months. And she goes, oh no, you're supposed to go up every single month. He can't be doing that. And I literally paused and was like, he's having success on the 5 milligrams. There's literally no need for him to go up. And she was like, yeah, but you're only supposed to be on 1 dose a month at a time, and then you move up. And I was like, but what's the point? Like, why? She was getting kind of like snippy with me. And I was like, why though? If he's having success on this lower dose, why give him more? He's not having any side effects. He's having success on it. What is the point of upping it then? And I was like, yeah, that's where he's comfortable with. We cleared it with our doctor. We told him that he's been on 5 for a few months. So, but if the 7.5 is the only thing available, then he would feel comfortable moving up to 7.5. So, and she was like, okay, well, I'm going to give them a call and see, because a lot of the times they'll have it, and maybe coming from like a doctor's office instead of you just calling, whatever. And I was like, okay, no problem. And when she called back, she said, they're expecting to get a shipment in sometime this week. So we're going to go ahead and send over a prescription for the 5 milligrams and the 7.5. And whichever one they have readily available, we'll just have them fill for you. And I was like, okay, thanks, no problem. Like, I appreciate it, blah, blah, blah. And she was so kind. Like, she was really kind at the end of the conversation. She was like, no problem. And if you guys have any questions, if you run into any issues, like, please just call me back. Like, super helpful. But I hung up the phone being like, why? Like, I've heard other people say the same thing about how their doctors are like, oh no, you absolutely need to up your dose like at the month mark and blah blah blah. And I just don't like, why? Like, why do we need to? If we're having success on these lower dosages, why do we have to up it? That you're upping it for no reason at that point. And then I did read something yesterday that apparently all of the 0.5s are considered therapeutic doses. And I guess some insurance companies, and it also depends on your plan, like, because obviously there's different plans within the insurance companies. Some plans, I guess, will only cover the 0.5s for so many times. So far, I mean, we're both, Tim and I are on the 5s, and we haven't had any issues getting it prescribed to us or refilled, other than the shortage, obviously. So I don't know if that would be true for us if he goes to the 7.5, because that's my fear now, is if he goes up to the 7.5, but our plan only allows him to be on that for 1 month, and then they're not going to cover it again, then he's going to be forced to go back up, or go up again, I guess. So, I don't know. Let me know if you guys have had any experience with that. Have your doctors been weird about keeping you on like a lower dose? Like, I guess I kind of understand them not wanting you to stay on the 2.5 for months and months, because I guess, again, technically that's only like the therapeutic dose. It's not like, the full medicine dose. But like, I just don't understand. All of his labs came back like perfect. He's losing weight. He's not having any side effects. Why do they want you to go up so bad? And like, I even remember talking to the doctor about it last week when we went to our appointment, and at first he was kind of like, oh, I mean, yeah, I guess, like, if you want to stay on it, but like, you're supposed to go up. And I was very much so like, yeah, no, we don't want to, it's working for us. So like, you're not gonna tell me what, like, I don't know. It was just a weird thing to me, and I thought it was interesting how she was like, for months? He's been on it for months? Yeah, bitch. He has. And he's doing great. And I have. And I'm doing great. So, like, don't make it sound like we're doing something wrong just because we want to stay on a lower dose of medicine. Because, sometimes too much medicine isn't good for you either. And I've heard people say that the, higher doses they go up to, because their doctor wants them to go up, the sicker they feel. Like, we're chilling right now. We're steady. Why do you want to mess that up? Like, just leave us alone. Don't fix something that's not broken. That's kind of the way that I look at it. So, fingers crossed that he does actually get his medicine sometime this week or next week. Fingers extra crossed that it's the 5 milligrams, so that he doesn't have to, worry about jumping up to the 7.5, but I know at this point he'd be willing to take whatever. So that's kind of my rant of the morning. I just thought it was like interesting how her like immediate reaction when I said he had been on it for a few months. And I don't mean like freaking 6 months. Like, he just started this medicine in February. So he's been on what? He's been on the 5 for like a little over 2 months. Like, relax, lady. Jeez. It's his body. He can do what he wants with it. But anyway, I hope everybody has a great Tuesday. And I did film another video last night of someone had asked me a while ago in my comments, how do I make my hard-boiled eggs in my air fryer? And I had filmed a video, but then it turned into, the middle of the video turned into like a disaster, so I squashed the whole thing. But last night I needed to make my eggs for the week anyway, so I just like filmed myself making the eggs and everything. So I'll probably post that at some point today too. So if you're interested on how I make my hard-boiled eggs in the air fryer, because I promise you, if you are someone who struggles with peeling hard-boiled eggs, this is like the easiest, most foolproof thing that I have ever done, because I was one of those people that literally, no matter what I did, could not peel a hard-boiled egg that came out of boiling water. Literally, no matter what, no matter how many different ways I tried it, no matter what, I just could not do it for the life of me. And just plopping them in the air fryer, I get a perfect peel every time. So if you're interested in that, look out for that video. It'll come out at some point today. I have it edited and ready to go. I just have to figure out what time. So maybe I'll do it around lunchtime in case anybody's hungry for some hard-boiled eggs. But I will see you guys later on today, and then again back in my car for tomorrow's vlog.